and then we can go live also on Instagram. So good morning, welcome to our Monday morning session, focusing a little bit more on the breath. And I think today it'd be quite nice. It's Monday, it's nice and bright here, there's no rain so far. Let's do a little bit of activation of the breath, a little bit more energizing of the breath to start with after we've done our mobilization. And then we'll do some calming breath at the end of the session. So that's the plan. Let's see how that works out. So coming up to your standing position, finding space around you so you've got plenty of space front and behind, taking your feet shoulder width apart, a little bit of softness in the knees, have an awareness of that connection to the ground through the feet, and then just knocking, rotating the spine. Always a great one to start off with. And just have a little scan through the body. So just focusing, bringing your awareness to your feet as they are connected to the ground. And just feel now as you're moving up to the lower legs, feel that sort of like rotation, maybe a little bit of a twist through the lower legs. So you're thinking of the ankle and into the knees, just keeping the knees soft. And as always, if there's any pain, it's not about forcing through pain. But if you feel slight tightness, that's fine. You can just sort of like relax into that tightness. Working up the legs, so into the thighs and the hip sockets. Feel how the hips glide. And then notice where you're tapping across the belly and across the back, tapping the back of the hand into the back of the body. And then work your way almost like each section of the spine. So the tailbone, the sacrum, where you're tapping, and then up into the lower back. And then you come into the base of the rib cage. Feel that point where the spine is rotating close to the base of the rib cage in the back. And then up through that upper back. Really lengthen the spine up into the shoulder blades. Feel the space between the shoulder blades. And coming up the spine into the neck. And really relaxing the shoulders. And then let's take a nice calm full breath in. So really think about expanding the chest. Full breath in through the nose, a little hold at the top of the breath, and let go. And that let go can be through the mouth, through the nose, whatever feels good for you. Let's do that again. Slow, calm, full breath in through the nose. It's like the morning breath of fresh air. Hold at the top, keep the shoulders relaxed, and let go. Breathing easy. Let's do one more. Calm breath in. Fill up, hold, and let go. And then moving into water waves. That contrast, slow motion. Soften into the hips, into the knees and the ankles. And let that breath just be natural in and out through the nose. And then take a stand. Stand tall. Have a little shake out of the legs if you need to. And then come back to hip width apart. Let's just bring a little bit of awareness to the biomechanics again of breathing, where you feel where the body responds to the breath in various areas. So we're going to connect our fingers like that. Find your navel, find your belly button. That's got a little bit of wire for my microphone there. Find your belly button and then bring your fingers down about 3 finger widths down from the belly button there, and just put a gentle bit of pressure there. If it feels uncomfortable, don't do it. If it just doesn't feel nice, then just bring awareness there, even just gently touch that point there. But if you're comfortable, just to put that little bit of pressure there. So we're putting a bit of pressure on our lower abdominal muscles. And let's just take 3 slightly fuller breaths in and out through the nose. So slightly fuller, slightly slower, and notice how this area responds to those 3 slow, full breaths. And when you've done that, just take a rest. Give your arms a little bit of a shake if you need a shake. So when we're taking fuller breaths there, I'm not pulling the air in. I'm not forcing the air into the lungs. I'm keeping all of that nice space in the face, and I'm just taking calm breaths in. You can almost flare the nostrils a little bit. You're filling the lungs a little bit more. Now, how are you feeling down here? Are you feeling that area? How are you feeling that area respond? Is it gently pushing out as you're breathing in? So let's see if we can feel that expanding out as you're breathing in. It's key that I don't want you using these muscles. I don't want you to try and belly breathe or anything like that. I just want you to feel how this area responds. That's the key word, how it responds to your breathing. So let's again focus on that point, gentle pressure. If you want to put a little bit more pressure there, that's fine. Whatever feels comfortable. So we're taking slow, slightly fuller, not massive, slightly fuller breaths in and out through the nose. Just do 3 now. Just bringing awareness to that point just below the belly button. And then take a rest again, have a little bit of a shake out. Hopefully you can feel that area responding. It's just gently pushing out as you breathe in, gently settling back in towards the spine as you breathe out. It's not a massive movement, so don't worry if you're not sensing it straight away. And another way to think about it is I always think about breathing into the hips. And what we're feeling there is as you breathe in, the diaphragm moves down. That creates what we call that intra-abdominal pressure. That pressure makes the abdominal wall and the fascia gently push forwards, and the pelvic floor work as sort of like a little bit of a trampoline. So that's when you're feeling that push out slightly. It can be slightly complicated because we think often about pulling the belly in, about engaging the core. If you pull in too tightly here, we get no movement there. So it's a fine balance depending on what you're doing. Whether you're lifting, it's going to be a little bit more engaged here. If you're standing, there's obviously a slight engagement. If you're sitting, it's slightly different. So what I want you to think about is this area responding to how you're breathing, but also how you what you're doing, how you're moving and things. And this is for me what we think about as a true deep breath, thinking about how deep you're sensing the breath. So let's just go back to that point there, and this time, rather than taking fuller breaths, I want you just to breathe light and soft and deep. So it will be a smaller sensation, but just see if you can bring your attention to that point as you're just breathing naturally, soft, light, effortless breathing. So a true deep breath. We don't have to take a big breath to take a deep breath. This is key in a lot of things we focus on. This is the foundation, making sure your biochemistry is right for everything we do. And in Qigong, Tai Chi, this area here, many of you know, as we've practiced before, is called a Dantian, the lower Dantian, and it's seen as the physical energy center. So often in Qigong, Tai Chi, this is referred to as Dantian breathing, breathing into your center. But it doesn't have to be big. We don't have to take those huge breaths. There's nothing wrong in that, but we want to make sure that we're breathing just the right volume of air that we need for what we're doing. So breathing into your center, centering yourself. So again, just a few more soft, light, effortless breaths. And then take a rest, have a little shake, move around if you need to. We'll go back to that because another point that is quite nice to focus on, if you really get that sensation, is when you put in a little bit of pressure there, is think about how you're creating more sort of like space here in the lower back. Because imagine if you have a balloon in a cage, if you press on one side of that cage, it will create the balloon. When you blow up, will go to the back of the cage. So think about as you're putting a little bit of pressure here, is you're sending the pressure a little bit more into the lower back. It's a nice way sometimes if you feel as if you've got a tight lower back of just releasing a little bit of tension. Again, this is not trying to force any movement. This is about just putting pressure there and letting that intra-abdominal pressure open up a little bit of space in the lower back. So again, just have a little focus on that. It's so subtle because it's not something I can show you how to do. It's something you need to sense and feel. So just bring your attention to breathing into the lower back. And if you want to, you can take again that slightly fuller breath just to fill a little bit more. Good. Have a little bit of a shake. Shake your legs out a little bit. Let's do a bit of an active breath now. So there we were just letting the breath be natural. So you're just breathing in, breathing out. No sort of like specific focus on a specific cycle of the breath. Here we're going to focus on the exhale. So it's a bit like blowing a candle out. So we just let the breath flow in through the nose, and we're going to create an exhale by blowing a candle out through the mouth. So you're just going to go, and when we do that exhale, it's almost like you're pulling in a little bit more here. You're deliberately using your muscles, particularly the diaphragm, which is right up here, to blow the breath out. So just do a few of those standing. So let the breath naturally flow in, and then take a rest. Again, we don't want to do too many of these, because if we do loads and loads of these, we start to lower our CO2 levels, we start to feel a little bit lightheaded. So it's just a few activating breaths. Let's do that a little bit quicker. If you want to put your hand there to feel that movement, then do so. So we're just going to blow the candle out. Let's do 5 quite quick, quite punchy. So let the breath flow in, and so you can physically feel your abdominal muscles working there. Sorry, my phone for some reason has come out of sleep mode. And then let the breath settle. Let's do 5 again. So again, if you want to use your hands just as a little bit of a reference point. 5, and then let the breath settle. And then let's do 5 again. It doesn't have to be forceful. It can be powerful, but not necessarily forceful. And then let the breath settle. Now we're going to move into the water buffalo posture. If you've done this, you know how to do, you know this practice. If you haven't done this, I'll talk you through it. We're going to be a little bit more active with the breath. We're going to do 10, and we're also going to then, at the 11th, we're going to do a very long exhale. So we're going to squeeze all the breath out, and we're going to do a hold at the bottom of that breath, or a pause at that bottom of the breath. And you're going to control that pause until you really feel that first distinct desire to breathe. So it's going to be a little bit challenging. Now, because we've been a bit more active with the breath, because we're creating a little bit more stress with the breath, if you've got any cardiovascular issues, if you've got high blood pressure or low blood pressure, or particularly if you're pregnant, do not do any strong breath holds, don't do any overactivation of the breath. And if you're just not feeling 100% and it doesn't feel good this morning to do it, just do it gently. You can just do, you don't have to go all out for it. And it shouldn't hurt the throat. Watch that you're not doing really weird things with the throat that we've often seen, or I've often seen. So come back to your standing position. So you're about shoulder width apart on the feet. So you've got 2 positions. We can either go here, where you're just gently resting on the thighs. Now I'm not putting loads of force on the thighs. I'm gently resting. The key is to free up here in this top rib. So make sure you're not hunching the shoulders or locking the shoulders down. So that position is position 1, if you want to do that. The next position, if you want to make it a little bit more challenging, is just come and rest on the thighs with your forearms. So you're just going a little bit lower. Keep that chest lifted a little bit, so I'm not tilting and looking down at the ground. So that's position 2 if you want to challenge yourself a little bit more. And then in position 3, you can just let your arms dangle, but still keep that depth there. So choose whichever position you want to work in. Let's get that position now. I'll go to this position. Lift the chest a little bit, lift that sternum a little bit. So I'm still looking forwards. So we're going to do 10, and then the 11th is a long exhale and squeeze. Everybody's going to hold for however comfortable you are. So let's go 10. Long exhale. Squeeze all the air out. And then hold. And then when you get to that point where you feel, yeah, I need to breathe, just very slowly push the ground away with the feet. Come up to standing really slowly. Take it easy. And then do a nice calm breath in. And breath out. So now we're balancing out that really active breath with a nice calm, relaxing, more passive breath. Slow, light, easy breathing. And then take a rest. Let's repeat that. So again, whichever position you want to go into. So what is great about this is you take the role of the diaphragm out from stabilization. When we're standing, diaphragm has to stabilize the spine as well. The minute we get into this position, we can just let the diaphragm do the work, focus all its attention on the breathing. So whichever position you want to go into, let the breath settle, and then we'll do 10. 11th is that big exhale and hold. And then when you take that next breath, remember to come up into pulling down the sky, pulling down the heavens. So let's all start together, and breath in and long breath out. Squeeze all the air out. Squeeze, hold. Use those muscles, use the diaphragm, pulling those muscles in. And then when you feel the need to breathe, slowly come up. You can start breathing the minute you come up. Take it slowly, slowly, slowly. Nice and calm, slow breathing. Let's do one more. And then take a rest. Just noticed I forgot to press go live on Instagram. So we're on Facebook and YouTube, but we're not on Instagram. So hopefully nobody's waiting on Instagram. Let's do one more round of that. So choosing whichever position you want to go for. If you want to, maybe you want to challenge yourself a little bit more. Maybe you want to see if you can go a little bit lower, but again, not forcing anything. Opening up the chest, opening up this top rib here. And then when you're ready, let's go 10. Squeeze everything out. Squeeze everything out. Hold for as long as you feel comfortable and you can control it. And then slowly use the legs, push through the ground. And then we'll move into connecting the thumbs together, resting on that lower down chin, bringing the elbows into the side, bringing the feet together, and then just closing your eyes. Just letting the body rock and sway. Letting the breath settle. Just gently keep it so soft and light. In and out through the nose. And then again, taking that calm breath in through the nose. Filling the space, filling the lungs, stepping out. Opening your eyes, giving yourself a gentle brush down. Good, bit of activation, bit of wake up breathing there this morning, hopefully. The key is making sure that you use, when we're doing that particular active breath, it's, so yes, you are creating a sound through the mouth, but make sure you're not really in the throat, because sometimes it tends to be the throat that controls it. We want that diaphragm to control it. So we really want to work those, the diaphragm and the muscles, the intercostal muscles and the abdominal muscles as well. Excellent. Have a good day. Thanks for joining. Hope you enjoyed that. And I'll see you on Wednesday for a little bit more movement. Get the mats out on Wednesday. I think we'll do a little bit on the floor as well on Wednesday. Have a good day. Thanks a lot. Take care. Bye-bye. Bye.